In terms of preparations for an NBL campaign, how did you find that going?
Well, they probably play a little bit different, right? I mean, they've got just so much more size than we're used to seeing, and just great players, great talent, and shoot, they still had 3 NBA type guys that weren't even here. It's an amazing roster, but for us, it's a new group. Finding ways to connect. I think it was a really, really positive day. I just think it was, for 3, 2, and 2 full quarters and another halfway through the third, we really had really good rhythm and played with, some pace and some connections and figuring out different rhythms. And, we really started from scratch because, this was the first minutes that we played with Bryce and Isaac Humphries and, just trying to find that rhythm and pace. And so I take nothing but huge positives out of it. That's an unbelievably talented team and very well coached.
On that combination, the Bryce and Isaac, to see that in its really infancy, really, where do you see that building?
That's probably more of a question for the guy to my left, to be honest with you. But, they've got a little chemistry. They're able to kind of communicate. They're starting to figure it out. I just think that when great players play together, it ends up being pretty easy. And you have 2 really high IQ guys there that understand angles and screening and rolling, and not only on offense, but they're also in probably the most pick and rolls on defense. And that's another part of the communication. Your point guard, if you call yourself a point guard or points guard or whatever you want to describe yourself as, the 1 and the 5 are going to be in more possessions than any other people out there, right? And it's that communication, that connection on both sides of the ball, and we're trying to build that. And, that's the foundation of our team.
Bryce, you said first game in 5 months. That must have felt good.
Yeah, I kept telling Coach, leave me out there every time he asked if I wanted to sub. I wanted to see how my body was going to respond because obviously the real thing is next week. But aside from a little bit of, dusting off the cobwebs, I think my conditioning was really, really good, so I'm happy with that.
Obviously a lot was made build up around yourself and Kendrick Nunn and the 2 MVPs, but how did you find going up against that caliber of talent?
Yeah, I mean, it was good. It's always fun to compete against great players, especially having a chance to play against another great player that's in a different league. The NBL's played against NBA teams before. We've never had a chance to play against EuroLeague teams, and to have a free hit, I guess, with a team like that before we have the real deal next week, we couldn't have asked for anything better. Yeah.
Comparing the European basket with Australia, it was faster or slower?
Slower. It's a slower pace. Obviously, they have size to their advantage, especially when it comes to the bigs. So they don't really need to run 100 miles an hour. But for us, because of the lack of, we want to make sure we're running with pace. So it was a good contrast to, just to see how it looked.
Commiserations for the loss. I wanted to ask you, because this is a tournament that's very personal to Panathinaikos back in Greece. I wondered, what does it mean for you as a club, and a question for both of you, to be able to participate in this tournament, which was held outside of Greece for the first time ever?
Want me to go? You got it? Go ahead.
I mean, the same thing. It's new for us, but as a player, you want to look at it as it's a challenge to measure your talent again. And, when you play professional basketball, you've been in the mindset of measuring yourself against talent your entire life. So this was a great opportunity. I wasn't aware that, it's the first time the tournament was held elsewhere, but from a pure athlete standpoint, it was a great measuring tool for us as a team.
Yeah, I think for the NBL and for the Adelaide 36ers, it's just a huge honor to be invited. And then, just a really kind of cool event to play, to me, the best club outside of the NBA. I mean, that talent, that roster, what Coach does, it's a pretty fun deal. I've watched those guys after being in the NBA for 26 years. I've seen them. It was, as well as Bryce playing in a game and measuring himself against great competition, you want to have a chance to coach in that game and, kind of with a new group and try to pull some levers there a little bit and see what we could get done against, some really good size and all those things. So, just a really cool evening. Big honor for us, for the NBL to have it here in Australia. I mean, just a great evening, I think.
Similar to that, so I mean, yes.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Thanks.
Thanks so much.